Hi, I'm Alison Haselden. I am the writer and director of Wicked Dames. So Wicked Dames is an audio drama, so it is a scripted narrative podcast, and we are taking our listeners into 1942 Berlin, Germany in the thick of World War II. When Violet and Elizabeth Fisher's mother goes mysteriously disappearing in 1942 Berlin, Germany, they are faced with an unthinkable choice: kill a Nazi or risk their mother's true identity falling into enemy hands. Over the course of Wicked Dames, the girls team up with a serial killer moonlighting as a lounge singer, a girl who's from a very wealthy Nazi sympathizing family, as well as a Jewish girl in hiding, to form the Wicked Dames. And together they seduce and kill Nazis, all while looking to discover where Violet and Elizabeth's mother went. And the story is really interesting to me because we're exploring all the shades of gray of this time period. We've seen a lot of what's happening on the battlefields. We've learned a lot about the tragedies of the Holocaust, but I was really interested in what some of these warring resistance groups were doing. Many of these folks were resisting the Nazis, but they all had very different ways and methodologies that they thought was the best way to do that. So I was really intrigued by what young women and girls and these resistance rebel groups were doing during World War II, and I wanted to add just a little bit of excitement and mystery to it. We're exploring the concept of serial killers during a world war, what that would be like, the different spies and rebel groups, and just seeing young women rise up and take things into their own hands, which this is all based on true stories. So I'm just so excited to get to share little snippets of some of our real history of our world.
Who's gonna love this type of audio drama?
Absolutely. I definitely think Wicked Dames is going to resonate with women between the ages of 18 and 35 in particular.
Ooh.
But I wrote this story to be accessible and exciting to literally all groups. It's a lot of action, it's a lot of secrets and a lot of strategy involved. So there's something for everyone. If you like murder mysteries, if you like true crime, or if you like action stories, this is gonna be something that's gonna be really exciting for you. And I'm really excited to kind of share a war story that doesn't feel like our grandfather's dusty old testosterone-fueled stories, right? This is set during World War II, but it is definitely for the girls and by the girls.
So what are, two shows or movies that you really think would overall describe Wicked Dames, just so that we can have a good benchmark?
Absolutely. The best way that I can describe Wicked Dames in the context of other projects that are already out there, it's basically a cross between Peaky Blinders and Little Women.
Oh,
Little
Blinders.
Little Blinders, Peaky Women. If you put those two together and you put us in World War II Germany, you have Wicked Dames.
Wow, I want to know all about that now. That's so exciting. So how do you describe the themes of the WD?
Of the WD? I think for me, I'm so fascinated by psychology, and all throughout writing this series, I wanted to really deep dive into the nuances of the shades of gray of the human experience, right? I think it's so easy to want to fall into black or white, good or evil, right or wrong. And one of the great joys for me is getting to explore the shades of gray. So that is a huge part of it, is examining, what would you do in a situation that is such high stakes? You don't have a lot of time to decide. You just have to try to do your best with what you have. And that's what a lot of these characters are doing. I had a question that kept coming up for me as I was starting the early phases of this project. And that was, what is the best time in history to be a serial killer? And I thought to myself, probably during a time of war, right? When there's so much death and destruction already happening, I believe it would be quite easy for a serial killer to slip through those cracks undetected, even more so than in regular times. So that was something I wanted to play with as well. We have a female serial killer in the story, and she is really leveraging the opportunities of working with the resistance groups in order to just get her fix of blood.
Wow. Okay. So I just feel like serial killer stories are just so interesting. Why do you think that is? Like, why are serial killer like?
I think we're all fascinated by the concept because it just seems so outlandish and foreign to us, and yet we at this point have seen so many cases of serial killers throughout history that it's that psychology thing. Like, I think we all love the puzzle of trying to figure out who someone really is, why they do what they do. And so if your brain works like that, like mine does, then you're really, really going to love these characters in Wicked Dames, because every single one of them, even the ones that are not serial killers, have just a lot of layers and nuance, and it keeps you on your toes guessing what they might do next.
So a lot of complex characters here.
Yes.
A lot of moving parts.
Absolutely. All of our characters are complex. I love writing complex characters, especially complex women who have so many different layers to who they are, what they care about, what they're motivated by. And so I wanted to highlight and celebrate the strong female characters of our history in this story, because women were the backbone of our society, and they were doing a lot more than many people know about. You can stream Wicked Dames wherever you listen to podcasts and music starting September 10th, 2024.